Hello and welcome to the Gonzales Mitchell Show. I'm Clay Mitchell.
And I'm Patrick Gonzales.
And today, Patrick and I are going to talk about day three of the Democrat National Convention, some of the speeches, what went on last night, and any of the events surrounding it. So, Patrick, what's going on?
I'll tell you, Clay, I was watching last night and I was thinking of my dad. And
Mhm.
my dad was the original social justice warrior. And he came by it naturally. He was orphaned at age 6. That was 1930. So he spent his childhood and his adolescence kind of bouncing around foster homes.
Yeah,
and
wow.
and he had a couple of people in his life that just sort of to the day he died he revered. And one of them was a woman judge in New York City. And I think my dad just took his experiences, and that kind of led him to where he was politically. And he ended up he started out in after the war, got his college degree, got a graduate degree, started in the newspaper television biz, and ended up working for the government. And for the last 15 years of his government, he worked for the Office of Equal Opportunity in the Head Start program. And he had headed up one of the programs under Sergeant Shriver, the
Oh, my
19,
goodness.
the 1972 vice presidential nominee.
Right.
And that's what I got to tell you a story real quick, and
Sure, sure.
it's gonna sound apocryphal, but brother, I swear it's true. In the summer of 1978, it was either July or August. We all went. Dad took the two boys and his wife over to Sergeant Shriver's house. And it was somewhere in Montgomery County or Northern Virginia, but it was somewhere. It was a big estate.
Mhm.
And as God is my witness, at the Shriver house, the kids played some touch football. And I don't know who was there, but one of the things that struck me later in life, I don't know if any of the Kennedy cousins or not, were there, but that was literally, it was probably 2 months after Senator Robert Kennedy was assassinated. And
Oh,
I was kind of unaware of all the things, but anyway, it just kind
you,
of boggles my mind.
you meant 1968.
68. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right,
Yeah, 68.
right,
Did
right.
I misspeak? I
Sure, yeah,
apologize.
that's fine.
Yeah, no, but anyway, so I'm thinking of my dad last night. I'm looking at the audience, and what's boggling my mind is just the genuine joy, enthusiasm, ebullience, just downright love that they're experiencing.
Yeah.
And you don't fake that. That was coming from the heart. And I was kind of juxtaposing it in my mind. Now, this is my take on it, Clay. This isn't a fact.
Sure.
This is Patrick's opinion. I'm
Right.
looking at the speakers at the mic, and I sense sort of a disingenuousness, a demagogic quality. And I guess why I'm seeing it that way is because they're just saying things that don't square to my way of thinking. And I'm not being judgmental or anything, but I'm thinking about my dad and how would he have responded? To give you a sense of my dad's political bent, the worst day of his life was the day Ronald Reagan got elected president. So that tells you kind of where he was coming from.
Reflection.
But no, I had great fun last night. Think kind of spiritually watching the convention with my dad.
Right. I saw the speeches too, and I just have to point out as a Marylander, Westmore in prime time gave a speech. Uh, Obviously, he is one of the best speakers I've seen, and I actually was flipping through the channels. They came across Fox News, and they had, I guess, 5 people on the panel. 4 of them said, "You know something, this coming up in the future here, the Democrats have a deep bench and 4 of the 5 of them, when they asked, "Who is your top pick for the next obvious nominee?" and 4 of them said, "Wes Moore from Maryland." And I think that's a tribute to him and, his efforts.
Oh
But
yeah,
it was an excellent speech. It really was.
I no, and I missed it because I was out for a little bit last night. But I met the dude down in Chrisfield last year at the Crab Feast, the annual Taw's
Right.
Crab Feast, and I was kind of standing close to where he was, and he had a crowd of people around him, and everybody wanted to get next to him. And I got up and was introduced. But the thing I noticed, Clay, so often in politics these days, everything is so phonous balonus, just so scripted and not genuine. And
Right.
but I could tell at that gathering down in Chrisfield last September, Wes Moore has the it
Yes.
quality that Barack H. Obama had, the
Right.
it quality that William J. Clinton had. And it doesn't, you would think, well, that's kind of commonplace in politics. Not anymore, dude. And so you kind of notice it when you see it.
He's the kinda guy, and when he walks into a room, if he was never governor of Maryland, he's just a guy walking into the room. He has that magnetism to him
Yep,
that he's a guy you gotta talk to, and kudos to him, kudos to him.
yep, I agree totally.
The other speech I saw last night, that I thought obviously he delivers a terrific speech the way you were saying. Bill Clinton, he lights up a room, he does that with his lip and, classic Bill Clinton. But I noticed after Bill Clinton, which there was the emotion in the room built up, they brought out a couple of other speakers that sort of deflated the room a little bit. Then Oprah Winfrey comes on and delivers a speech, which led into sort of a halftime show. That's the only way I can say it, with John Legend and Sheila
Right,
E.
right.
And the music was pumping. And then, unfortunately, it was after 11 o'clock. We've talked about that a bit this week. Tim Walz comes out, gives a great speech. He said what he needed to say in 15 minutes, and I thought it was effective.
Oh, dude, I tip my cap to Governor Walz as far as the speech. I honestly I thought it was going to be a little more vitriolic, a little more attack dog mode, and it wasn't. But as far as the timing, he he has been timing wise, meaning, oh, I wish, that's all, folks. And you sit and you
Yeah.
think, gee, I wish he would have spoken for maybe another minute or two. He knew exactly when to exit. And that it was good. I totally agree. I got home right as the Oprah Winfrey speech was kind of winding up. So I saw her, I saw the reaction. And dude, what blew my mind is the reaction from the crowd. It wasn't generated. It wasn't like the old Johnny Carson shows where they'd hold up the applause sign to
Right, the
make sure
applause sign.
you didn't need it. I
Yeah.
mean, it was just totally genuine. So I thought that was kind of cool.
And just to put this to bed for me, it was a theme I had this week. We were drawing the parallels between 1968. The superintendent of police there, Larry Snelling, he was going to have none of it. I could
Yep.
tell. I watched another live stream last night. Those police officers were well trained, professional. There was no problems. And he said in a press conference, "Everybody, please put this 1968 stuff to bed." So I promise you, that's to bed for me. I think the 68 theory is dead and buried.
Yeah. No, I think
And
you're right.
kudos to the city.
Yeah. No, I mean that's it's a big event. It's logistically a difficult assignment, and it looks like it's gone about as well as could be expected so far.
What do you see going forward after this convention? Does this change the way conventions are going to be produced, uh,
Well,
both for
it could.
Democrats and Republicans?
Well, I mean, if we look for a point of comparison, you kind of look at the evolution of, say, the Oscars over the last 50 years, and you see it's kind of um, off in a certain direction. I think it will. I think a lot of it is going to depend on the November election. In other words, success breeds a thousand fathers, failure is a lonely orphan.
Right.
And I think generally the Republican convention last month was a little more traditional, but still had some up to date, stuff. So I think it might, but I think as our country changes, as our culture evolves and changes, I think it will. And for an old fogey like me, it was a little too heavy handed on the Super Bowl halftime aspect
Yeah.
of it. But hey, a lot of
I
people,
think that just shows our age, though.
yeah, no, and I think you're right. I think that's
Yeah.
absolutely right. And but I thought all in all, my one complaint, Clayton Mitchell, is why can't you get the timing down right? Why is Joe Biden on at midnight? Why is Barack Obama on at midnight? And it wasn't, and I'm exaggerating a little, but not much. And I thought Tim Walz came on way too late last night, but
I agree.
to his credit, he hit the timing perfect. He knew when it was time to say "Arrivederci, baby."
It was perfect pitch what he did. I think for conventions to be produced like the Republicans and the Democrats did this time, it was obvious, especially over the past month, who the nominee was going to be. If it goes into it where no one has a clear sense or have enough delegates to clinch it, that could change the dynamic of it too.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely,
but
and
it,
yeah,
I do think both parties are going to coalesce around someone before the convention ever comes up again, because we don't want to repeat of prior conventions where it's so contested and so bitter that it divides a party.
no, exactly. And it's like anything, you want things to go smoothly. And when, all the talk about the Dems have been trying to generate love and joy and all that. And I honestly think they've achieved that. I looked again, dude, I looked at that crowd last night. I'm watching it with my dad, you know,
Right.
and my father loved Louis Daniel Armstrong.
Oh, yeah.
Satchmo.
Such move. That's right.
He
You
adored, and I was,
repeat.
and
Sorry.
I love. He passed on some of Satchmo's music to me, but most of
Yeah.
what I was when I was a kid, and he had Louis Armstrong had a song called "What a Wonderful World." What a
Yes.
beautiful song! And there's a line in it. Let me see it. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can. It's in the beginning, and he's
Right.
speaking more than singing, and it goes something like this. It goes, "Love, baby, love. That's the secret. Yeah. If lots more people loved each other, lots more, this would be there'd be lots fewer problems. And then life would be a gasser. Yeah. And that's what life should be, brother. Life should be people loving people. And I don't want to sound naive and silly, but hey, why not? And last night I saw from the audience lots of people loving lots of people, and
It,
hey, I dug it.
so, Patrick, what did you learn in class today?
Well, Clay, I learned about the Constitution. Uh, I don't have the Constitution across the board to follow politics as intently as I did when I was a youngster. However, I have enjoyed the last few nights. Looking forward to tonight, and may the election begin in earnest tomorrow.
Well, with that, it's time to say goodbye, Patrick.
Goodbye, Patrick, and we'll see you all next time.